2022 happened. Now, I know the joke is that since 2020, every year is sort of blended into one another, but that, for me, was not really true. 2020 was a very weird year, but I had time to self-reflect, and then 2021 felt like the same thing, but I was actually moving forward. So, how was 2022 for somebody who doesn't really care about something like the pandemic because they spent all their time inside playing video games anyway? Well, after spending 2 years of just thinking about all the stuff that I wanted to do, I decided to finally actually start doing some of them. And what I have learned is that doing things is very hard and often not rewarding. This year felt like failure. It felt like everything that I put my mind to do and tried to do ended up just not happening. And I know a lot of other people feel that way because after being inside for 2 years, you kind of eventually decide it's time to do something. However, despite the fact that it seems like it should be obvious on how to do something, you just do it every day. Some things are not that easy. And even if something is that easy, doing something every day is a lot more complicated than it seems. Actually getting up at the right time and doing something for, I don't know, 30 minutes or like an hour every single day seems pretty simple, but it's really hard, especially because when I'm doing something like that, I'm wondering how long I have to do it for. Is this going to be a lifelong endeavor, or am I going to do it forever? Which might sound ridiculous, but genuinely, how long am I supposed to do something like that for? There's been a lot of major bad shit moments this year. I've learned a lot through the failures that have happened, but this year in general just is the first one that I feel like was kind of wasted during this pandemic. And when you're trying to do stuff and you get reminded again and again and again that you can't and it gets canceled, you get jaded. And instead of not wanting to do things but having the option, I feel like even if I want to do something, it wouldn't work out anyway. This year has been shit. I think we can all agree that the last couple of years have been shit. But I'm going to talk about some of the things that happened. So, I guess I'll start with the most recent one. It's the one that's the most topical. I need to put my commentator hat on, which I haven't done in a very long time. But since I am pretty rusty, I can not exactly stretch a 30-second topic into a 10-minute video anymore. YouTube has basically revised all of the rules to be more strict, just like how they did somewhere back in, I can't remember, but it was somewhere around 2016 because I was watching commentary channels at the time and they were complaining about this, where they're basically more strict on swear words, somehow more stricter than they used to be, and more strict on gore and stuff. So I guess like Doom, you probably can't play Doom and have it be monetized anymore because video game, comic book, gore and all that stuff is now being censored. Not only did they increase the strictness just in general, but it seems like they increased it for the algorithm. So certain words like luck or like poor might be turned to fuck or porn and stuff like that. Or you say like, is this might get converted to ISIS or something. I mean, I'm saying this because I don't make any money, so I can just speak freely on what other people are saying without having to quote and say things differently. But yeah, using algorithm and AI to determine what is allowed and what isn't allowed on the platform has been going on for a while. They just increased the strictness because I guess the last time this basically happened was because, PewDiePie said like, the word, I guess I'll say. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can say that if you watched my psychology video, but I just rather not because it's a whole thing usually. He said that on the bridge. Basically, when you show someone who was the most popular YouTuber at the time having a gamer moment, as it might be known, if you're a Coca-Cola CEO, you probably don't want to advertise on a platform that the literal figurehead of it is doing something like that on, so they pulled out. I'm guessing something like that happened again recently, because in fact there's a lawsuit right now where someone's trying to ban algorithms off the internet, which would completely destroy the internet and make it unusable, so it's probably not going to happen, although the Supreme Court is hearing it, and the US Supreme Court has been doing a little bit of trolling, to put it lightly. There is a chance that the internet could just go down completely, and assuming that doesn't happen, I would like the internet to be able to talk about certain topics. The reason that we even have this, and the reason that traditional media is going down, and the reason that bills like C11 and stuff like that are so bad is because people want to have a free platform where people can say what they want. They don't want to hear literally everything, and some people, like, to be honest, I don't think a lot of people are as for free speech as they say that they are. It's not demonetization, so companies aren't either, because you can run ads on restricted videos when you're making an advertisement. It's just brands don't want to have a risk of their ad showing up after someone has like a gamer moment or after a lot of gore, after something. You don't want the brands like Apple and Disney and Coke and all that other stuff don't want to have an ad after that because they don't want to have any chance of being associated with something like that. So that's basically why this is happening. And even though these brands will never say that they're against free speech or like absolute free speech or they're against certain ideas, they essentially are by not advertising on every single thing, which I can't really blame them for. I wouldn't really want my ad next to somebody popping off about COVID vaccines or saying anything that Kanye has said recently. Like, I probably wouldn't want my brand to be associated with that, but it is what it is. Like ISIS beheading videos, which is the main point of the lawsuit of trying to get algorithms banned because he was getting that, which I don't get anything gore or blood related or like real life related even in my recommendations, to be honest. It's mainly just like gaming stuff. I mean, I might show like me scrolling past it at some point. Even my brother, who watches police videos all the time, and as you can imagine, a lot of them have like shooting or stuff like that in it, he doesn't get ISIS, beheading videos, and usually the thumbnail and the title will tell you that something bad's about to happen. So I could understand why someone would be disturbed by watching somebody get beheaded. I am too. I'm not one of those people who used to go on Live Leak and 100% just don't care about gore. I don't like it, so I don't seek it out. And when a video is titled ISIS beheading number 510, which you're getting into, if the thumbnail has something messed up on it, I think YouTube should just force you to change the thumbnail, which they literally do if it has too much graphic material. It's supposed to be graphic or sexual material, but the sexual material has very clearly been stretched on some things, as you can probably tell. They kind of like to take a Twitch approach to that, it seems. Yeah, this sort of happened like the tail end of 2022 and 2023, it looks like it's going to be crazy. I mean, Andrew Tate getting arrested and all of that as well. This year seems like a lot of very important, very crucial things are going to be in the hand of this year. And it can go above or below. If certain things get banned, that bill gets passed through ban algorithms and the internet just goes down, it would be an obviously very dark time. However, I feel like these are all things that are out of my control, and unless you're some Supreme Court justice somewhere watching this, they're probably out of your control too. Or some YouTube, stockholder or something. Personally, there's been like a lot of deaths in the family, a lot of financial problems, a lot of internal strife, a lot of bad things that have happened, to put it lightly. People have been unable to work because they've been injured the entire year, and they've been promised certain things, scanned by certain people. This year, for me personally, has been very bad. I wish I could have the same optimism that I did last time to everybody look forward with happiness, but things are getting crazier and crazier out there. And it seems like the people have less and less control over what's going on in their own country and worldwide. With inflation, all that, it's kind of more demonstrated than it was before. The price of stuff shouldn't be as inflated as it is, but because you need gas to go somewhere, the gas company realized that they can essentially just set the price to whatever you want, and you have to pay it because you have to drive your car. And it's like that with groceries and all this stuff too. You have to eat, you have to do these things, and there's no precedent against it, and there probably never will be because of how much money those industries create. It's very hard to have a positive outlook on a world that seems to only be trending negative. And for someone who is generally a negative person, it gives you more reason to just be depressed and not do anything. But as much as I say that, I am trying to move forward and do the things that I keep saying I want to do. Now, as laughable as it sounds, I do want to do something like this full time, something like content creation, something like that. It generally does bring me joy, which is something that seems to be lacking from the traditional outlooks that I've had before, like video games and cooking and all that stuff. Content creation seems to be what I'm supposed to do. I'm just not good at it right now, but in a couple of years, I assume I will be good enough to at least mix things that I am at least decently proud of. This channel was never supposed to be that. This channel was just supposed to be a personal channel where I just rant about certain things like this. So if someone is watching this and somehow got this far, I know things are looking bad, and I would agree with you 100% on everything, but as long as we're alive, we have to keep moving forward, because standing still is not really an option. And standing still just makes you feel worse. Believe me, as somebody who hasn't really done much in what seems to be a very long time, standing still is a very temporary solution to a permanent problem. The problem is that you're not doing anything and not moving forward. And standing still to take a break or take a rest only short term. To describe the level of soul destruction that feels to wake up every day and realize that nothing has changed is way worse than the temporary pain of doing something can ever be. So always keep trying to do things and just make sure that you enjoy things while you still can, because things, people can be taken away at a moment's notice, and you'll never have it again. And maybe that sounds obvious, and we all know something like that's going to happen, but no matter how much talking and how much thinking we try to do about it, we will never be prepared for when that day comes.